didn't feel drained or anything. Like I actually felt like I was got more energy or something. Like it was like 2, 3 in the morning, bro. Like lit. So yep, this is this is the title for the rest of 2024. Shit, if we want to talk about current events or whatever else is being discussed.
Well, I mean, I just started learning about it, man. But one thing I thought was cool about it was a lot of the stuff that I talked to my wife about. It was actually in there, kind of like how you're fulfilled and like what things you want to do in your life, and we could kind of compare and contrast like my wife and what her number is compared to what my number is, right? And kind of understanding each other. I think a lot of times, like in relationships, people treat each other like they're supposed to be the same. So, like a woman will treat a man like, how come you don't behave like me or like me? And men do the same thing to women. And I think kind of showing it to my wife in that perspective kind of gave, a little insight into like why I'm different and the reason why I move different than she does or think different than she does, and the same for her. So I mean, I found a lot of value in it, man, because a lot of the stuff that I was already talking to her about, as far as me, as far as like why I think the way I do, why I do things that maybe she doesn't want to do, or why she does things that I don't want to do. It kind of translated when we started reading the life paths. So I thought it was pretty dope, man.
Lit. So what is your life path number? What is hers? If you don't mind telling me hers, I more so want to know yours.
Yeah, so I'm a life path 5, and she was a life path 9, and she's like real like spiritual and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and she's always been on that wavelength as I've. But me, I'm a life path 5, which I kind of knew, and when I read it, some of the aspects of like reading the life 5, it makes it seem like you're kind of a little bit reckless, right? Like you're to the point that you want adventure and you're cool with change and you can adapt in different situations depending on who you're around. And some of it's true to me, like the change aspects, like the adventure aspects, but I don't necessarily do it in the same like reckless way, right? I do I'm very forward thinking, so I'm always looking for, bumps in the road, potential risks, things that, I may need to navigate. And, I got that from that book, Art of War. I was already doing it, but I didn't really put it into words. But in Art of War, there's one part where it says, make the decision while it's easy. And basically what that meant to me was like, if you can look ahead, you can make a decision about something that a lot of people are more reactive in making that decision if you didn't see it coming, right? So in that case, you're gonna have to make a rush decision. You're gonna have to make a rush judgment, and you may make the wrong decision. But in a lot of times, I was already thinking about stuff ahead of time. So you know, like jumping out of plane. I went skydiving, and it was like I always told my wife like that. Like I'm cool with providing. I'm cool with making things happen financially and going to work or whatever I got to do, starting businesses. But I'm gonna get bored if I don't have some outlet to that. You know what I mean? And when I read the Light Path 5, it just all kind of made sense to me, man.
I know it made perfect damn sense. It get right to the description of you in the beginning. And it's crazy you a five. My girl is a five too. Um and even crazier, she a five, my son a six, and I'm a seven. So yeah, it get deep. And in the room last night, you say wifey is a nine. We had like 3 or 4 life path nines in the building last night. So bro, that shit crazy. She probably would enjoy hearing seeing get those readings because she talked about life path nines maybe 4 times because it was so many nines in there. So yeah, that's dope, bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. I wish I was there, man. Hopefully, maybe she come back or I could catch her another
Yeah,
time. Cause I mean, I like to hear
she'll
what.
be back today. She was in the room a little bit earlier. I had a little friends of friends room up for like 20 minutes. She popped in. She said she got a session and then she'll be popping in. So yep.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like to hear what they got to say, cause while I understand my life path, man, there's some times where I don't know them nines, man. I'm not sure what they on. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a little bit more clarity. I mean, one little paragraph or something's like, man, there's a lot involved in them. I feel like some of them are a little bit more straightforward, but I mean that's the truth, right? We all different, man. Like I think a lot of times we try to boil stuff down to just like the bare minimum, and everybody's
Yeah,
in
we
a
talked.
box.
We talked. We even talked about that last night when it pertains to like the horoscopes. You know how we'll have a bad taste in our mouth about, let's say, Scorpios or Tauruses, because we may have had bad experiences with those signs. But it's like you not even taking into account what else is in their sign. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not just about their sun sign, which is your main sign. It's about like what else is in that chart. You see what I'm saying? So we definitely talked about that. And yeah, even when it comes to the life path number 9, Sin broke it down as well, because people was asking like, how do you find it, how do you find it? And bro, I know sometimes how, you know I just try to make things as simple and easier for people. So I was letting people know, hey, go on Google, do your life path number calculator. They're gonna tell you. But she's way more well versed in it than me. So she was explaining how sometimes you can have numbers and it just get a little tricky. So maybe you should just write them down and add them that way, like your birthday, your year, and all of that. And she broke that down too, like some nines are different than other nines. I forget how she said it, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but yeah, she'll be here in a minute, so can get back to that. John, what's the word,
That's for
John?
sure. Hey, you
Hey,
said you were seven though?
Yes, sir.
All
And
right.
Google is your friend too
yeah.
on that hefe. It hit different when you get readings from people who know, but shit, when it come down to Google, they'll give you a lot of information, especially you going to different sites. What's up, John?
Hey, not much. I saw life path numbers and horoscopes, brother, and I thought, man, I got to get in here to listen and kind of visit. Uh, we've always, well, me, I've always been taught that this kind of stuff is what pagan. We're not supposed to do it. The church, says, hey, you got to believe in God and Jesus, and all this stuff is nonsense. It's pagan. It's of the devil. But even in scripture, it tells us to raise our children up in the way they should go so that when they grow old, they won't depart far from it. And I think that we're being hammered on the religion side of spirituality versus using what we've been given. It's been taken away from us. I mean, Daniel in the Bible, he studied the stars. All these people studied the stars. The story of Abraham and his father from, like, I think it's a book of Jasher, talks about how uh, Abraham's dad was Terah was in with Nimrod, and Nimrod's uh, magi had gone out at this banquet and looked up at the stars, and they read the stars, and they come back in and told Nimrod that Terah had a son that was going to kill him. Well, they wouldn't have known that if they didn't look at the stars and know, like you were saying, just because, like for me, I'm a Cancer, born July the 19th in
Jul-
1962.
July 8th, John.
Okay, so see, and I got that. I got this understanding, man, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, and I got to thinking about it. The horoscope, it lays it out, and the horoscope uses 2 months for one sign, and the calendar that I use has 2 months. Right? It's like my year doesn't really start until about the middle. Uh, I'll say the third week of March is when my new year starts. Right? So it's March and April, and then April, May, May, June, June, July, July, August, like that. And when we start to look, the only person in the Bible, if anybody in here has been raised in Christianity, they told us something, but we glossed over it because that's what our preacher did or our Sunday school teacher did. It's called the nativity. And the nativity of the Messiah is a position of the stars. So it's the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the rotation of the constellations right down to the hour and the minute. That's what blew me away. And then when I started studying and looking at like I got into Hebrew roots and Judaism for probably about 20 years. I jumped out of Christianity into Judaism, kind of messianic, uh, Hebrew roots, backdoor kind. So I rocked through there for 20 years, and I started seeing some stuff that really didn't resonate. And nobody was teaching on it of what I thought, like you guys are in here with your numbers. You break these numbers down, and it only goes to 9, and nobody ever counts 0, and 0 is a placeholder too. So when I started looking at this, and it's like uh, the last 4 numbers on uh, on my phone number are wait a minute, I don't call my 2655, right? 2 for me is the spirit of the Father, so it's the Father and His Spirit. 6 is me, the man, and 5 books to me represent the 5 books or the Word of God. Okay, and it's doubled, so it's like significant to me, and then it's a 10, which also breaks down to 1. So I look at things like that, and it makes sense to me. So that's why I was glad that I was able to come in here, uh, get a little more knowledge in this, because I'm teaching this to my 24-year-old daughter and my 8 and 7-year-old granddaughters. Because we all have different personalities, and we get mad, we talk smack,